I can't say that this video will be for everybody. I know a good majority of the known universe despises League of Legends, and most of them play the game. But I thought because I do love the game, I'd turn some of their characters into Pokemon. I did the whole randomized characters for this one, minus one character, because they gave me the idea for this video in the first place. Funnily enough, I wanted to do something like this like 10 years ago when I had no idea how to draw Pokemon in any semblance of the style whatsoever. I was going to start with Alistair and go through the entire list. Calm down past me, let's just do 6 for this video. For now, let's start with some popular champs and fall into the pit of despair known as League of Legends. Everyone loves Ahri, it's a fact, that's why she got a bunch of Ahriversary Chroma colours for skins. If you don't know, Ahri is a mage character who's from a race of animal people known as Vestians. Obviously I'd have to go towards what her main inspiration is, a nine-tailed fox, which we already have. But here's the twist, we're going to make it a bit more Lopunny, and before the pitchforks and torches are pulled out, I'm not making it like that. More like Delphox, I'd say. I've always wanted to enjoy playing Ahri, but there's just something about her gameplay that's never clicked with me. I think it's the Foxfire. I just don't like it, but damn if her original design doesn't sell itself. The best thing about the Pokemonification design of her is that it fits pretty well with most post-Gen 1 Fox Pokemon, feeling a bit like a natural in-between of Delphox and Hisuian Zoroark. I wanted to give it a bit of a look of having clothes, so I had the swirling foxfire around their leg area to look like the end of the skirt and the shoulders sticking out a bit like Ahri's weird shoulder coverings. All in all, a good white, red and blue colour scheme is perfect for this Pokemon. Vestari, the Foxfire Pokemon, a ghost and fire type. In ancient times, Vestari was known for being a demon that would absorb the soul essence of people if you got lost in the forest. Nowadays, this is merely used as a cautionary tale towards children. Vestari are mysterious Pokemon who are actually known to help people lost in the misty forests that they call home. If attacked, Vestari will create illusions of itself and lead them astray. The energy that flows through Vestari burns like flames upon its body, and creates a beautiful spectacle during battle, allowing it to dash around, launching powerful blasts of soul energy. Vestari has a new ability called Essence Theft, where when it KOs an enemy it heals equal to 10% of the enemy Pokemon's max HP. Let's make a team for Ahri too. Obviously we're going to go Fox Girly, starting with Vestari, then we're going to go with Alolan Ninetales, just because it feels like it has a bit more mysticism to it compared to the original, as well as a Hisuian Zoroark for that life-draining fox idea. We're going to give her a Lucario for a Yasuo stand-in. It's going to be a big thing, but a shiny Lopunny for misfortune. And finally, a Mamoswine as a stand-in for Braum for their Ruin King adventures.
Why are you sad, friend?
Now the randomizers seem to know who I love because Nico is one of those champions I vibe so hard with. We stan our lady love and curious chameleon.
Ooh, pretty colors. Nico likes this shape.
Another AP mage, her Pokemon form almost creates itself. I mean, Nico has so many fun little pieces to her design already. The colourful patterns on her skin, the weird head feathers, the funky tail, we can just put all that in. This one is much less humanoid than Ahri, even going a bit sillier looking, which I think is fitting for Nico. Even going further into a chameleon shape than any other Pokemon. Except maybe Sobble. Although I feel like Nilusory will try its hardest to not look like itself for very long, being like Zoroark Ditto in the game, looking like other Pokemon. Colours were pretty much the same from what Nico is, green skin, some green highlights, and some weird yellow pinwheel eyes. He sure is curious and funky. Niluzuri, the chameleon Pokemon, a grass and psychic type. In the Misty Forest, it's almost impossible to find a Niluzuri, as they are always transformed into another form. Whether a Pokemon or a person, Niluzuri isn't picky, it just enjoys the experience of being in other forms. In their normal form, Niluzuri clambers about trees happy and carefree, using their long prehensile tail to hook onto trees and swing about. Their arms and legs also have a degree of stickiness. Niluzuri will sometimes sneak into human settlements under the guise of a person, just to experience what life is like. Niluzuri cannot talk like us, however. Niluzuri's ability is illusion. In terms of Nico's team, I think we should have Niluzuri, a Persian for the Nidalee connection, a Politoed because she just loves that frog. Then we round out the team with some illusion Pokemon, a Kecleon, a regular Zoroark, and finally an Inteleon. I'm just digging my hole deeper here. First I do a video about League of Legends and next I do a Pokemon based off Teemo. I can hear that angry mob again. They're outside my house. Nah, but Teemo is annoying fun in League. Again, another ability damage character, but anyone who's played League knows that the hatred and joy versing and playing as Teemo respectively is. But Teemo is already kind of a Pokemon, just chuck him in and bam. Nah, we gotta change him up a bit. He's a bit like a badger, so I made him a quadruped with a bit of badger look to him. Worst thing is I barely changed his face, but not his back. He's got a Bulbasaur kind of thing going with a patch of grass curiously growing there with Teemo's special puff caps growing upon them, being cultivated by the little devil. It's a very literal transition, but hey, what else can you do? Maybe you can evolve into that big buff Teemo. Scoshroom, the toxic shroom Pokemon, a grass and poison type. The dutiful and happy-go-lucky Scoshroom spends their days collecting spores on their body, which help cultivate a special type of mushroom on their back. The mushrooms that they hold are incredibly toxic, and so predators will stay as far away as possible. Scoshroom plant these mushrooms around their territory camouflaged. Anything that enters the field will find themselves in great danger. Trained Scoshroom are employed to hunt down other Scoshroom territory and collect the mushrooms before anyone gets seriously hurt by their toxic payload. Scoshroom has the abilities Poison Point and Grassy Surge. Teemo's team would be Scoshroom, of course some Fungus Amoonguss and Breloom, as I feel like those are the two who best represent the toxic and combat nature of Teemo and his shrooms. Next we get some Bandle Scouts going with Watchog for our lookout Pokemon, and to round it out we'll have a Clefairy and Pikachu to represent Lulu and of course Kennen. And because they are Pokemon mascots, just how Teemo is a bit of a mascot.
Cut fast, cut strong.
Alright, next let's go with one of my mains, Gwen. I love Gwen, what an amazing design, and she's another character that can be translated rather well, as she is originally a cute little doll. And the way I went, it turned out very Mimikyu-like, which I think is fitting. To those who don't know, Gwen was once a doll inspirited by the soul of her owner, which transformed her into a real girl. She uses needles and a big old scissors, so I'm going to try and translate that into the design. So Gwendolly is very much the actual doll, stitched up and damaged. Its bow is kind of soul scissors now, large and imposing, with its true eyes and soul sort of hanging behind the actual doll itself. I wanted to separate a bit from Mimikyu, so instead of her having like shadow hands, she uses a sewing needle that has pierced her body permanently as a stand-in for her hand-in. I feel like Gwendolly, Bayonet and Mimikyu would all have a great time being abandoned doll friends together. Even if Mimikyu isn't exactly an abandoned doll, it did appreciate the friendship. Gwendolly, the stitched Pokemon, a ghost and fairy type. It's said that Gwendolly were once humans who loved a toy so dearly that upon their tragic passing, their soul and toy combined together. The energy that flows out is the true form of Gwendolly, however. It keeps the doll form so that it doesn't scare people. It sometimes gets confused for Mimikyu, although Gwendolly isn't against being looked upon in its true form and will not lash out violently but instead shy away. If a Gwendolly gets violent, it uses spectral scissors to cut away at the soul of the enemy, shortening their life in the process. It's lucky Gwendolly aren't naturally aggressive. Gwendolly has the ability Disguise. Gwen's team would consist of Gwendolly, a Frostlass for Sold, her previous owner, a Cabalion because Viego. I know they have different ideas of justice, but Cabalion just looks like that freak Viego. I'd say Gwen would actually keep a Bayonet and Mimikyu. She loves to tailor and would help sew up their broken bodies. And for her final Pokemon, I'd say a Furfrou. She would love to trim them, specifically in the Lorraine trim, but she would change it all the time, I'd say. Now, as of the time of writing, Briar is about to come out, and though I didn't do her, maybe another time, but the champion before her, Niviri, is so perfect. This is the character I wanted to turn into a Pokemon originally, and gave me the idea for this video. This one is a two-stager, one based off the silly dog she has, while the second form is based on Niviri. The first form, Connive, is a simple design, a bit of a laser-bout pup with a big knife on its head that it uses to bleed opponents dry. I didn't want to have it look too serious like the actual packmates in the game. Got to Pokemonify it with a bit of a friendlier personality somehow. This would be one of those horrible Salandit evolutions where only female Connive would evolve, so rip to anyone who gets a male shiny, I guess. Connive, the Knife Pup Pokemon, a Steel and Dark type. Connive live in large packs in the desert where they hunt their prey endlessly under the command of a single Niviri, where they are loyal to a fault. Connive follow only one basic instinct: hunger. The blade on their head, spine and ears are incredibly sharp and finely serrated, so even a single cut will cause profuse bleeding, for which the pack can follow easily. When not on the hunt, Connive sit in cool caves away from the scorching sun. Only female Connive evolve to lead a pack of their own. The male Connive become a force all of their own, with undying strength and loyalty. Connive have the ability Sharpness and a new ability called Serrated, where blade moves cause a new status effect called Bleed, dealing a portion of the Pokemon's health over 3 turns. Niviri is such an aesthetically amazing champion. Like, she could have just been a dog holding a knife, but instead she's this sick, Fangmon almost looking dog with a knife coat. If that isn't the sickest design, I don't know what is. Her Soul Fighter skin is pretty legit too. For her Pokemon, I really had to simplify the design, but I wanted to keep the general knife shoulders, the sleekness, and a similar length to the muzzle. I wanted to keep it in a combat pose so you know she's always on the hunt. I can imagine this Pokemon just being very sharp all over, even the tail acting like some kind of bladed whip to attack foes with. I think the Darken are some of the best designs League has to offer, with some great lore to boot. They'd probably make a great legendary pantheon of Pokemon like the Ruinous Quartet. They could even have like the Beads of Ruin, but instead Rust could have like the Scythe of Ruin or something, I don't know. For now, Niviri is just a standard Pokemon with a lot of dangerous knife doggy energy. No pats for this one. Niviri, the Blade Queen Pokemon, a Steel and Dark type. Evolves from female Connive after level 18 once he uses 50 blade moves. The Queen of Hunting, Niviri live to hunt down prey in the desert they call home. The advanced tactics they employ leads many to believe Niviri are one of the smartest Pokemon around. The blades that jut out of their necks are incredibly sharp and can be launched out. Even if Niviri loses all the blades, it can easily regrow them. Training a Niviri is a difficult task for any trainer. Between its wits and razor-sharp body, Niviri is probably best left as a desert hunter. Niviri has the abilities Sharpness and Serrated. Niviri is smart enough to control a Pokemon team, but you'd be tripping if you thought she'd use anything other than a full dog team. So we start with a stand-in Niviri, then I'm thinking a Houndoom, or even a Mega Houndoom, very similar aesthetics. A Mightyena, Absol, and Mabostiff, all the Dark-type dogs. And rounding it all off a Zacian for that big ol' sharp knife doggo energy. The pack is complete and ready for the hunt. Oh, that's all the champs for today. What did you think? I know again this video won't be for everyone as League is quite the divisive game, but I still hope you enjoyed it, and the designs. Comment down below what you thought of the video and the designs, and who you main in League as well. And also drop a like and subscribe and share with fellow League players. Next video we're going to meet the 7th Star gym leader. She's very different to other water type leaders and is very reflected in her Pokemon as well. I hope to see you there, and thanks for watching. Yippee!